the music. You will be inspired to think higher, realize your gift. Join the Muses and Michelle and Gina. Turn this up and through your speakers. It's the music of music.
And good evening. It is the Muses Behind the Music, and I am your host, Michelle Fowlin. I hope y'all are doing well. We've got a couple days before Christmas, and yes, I do realize that this Omicron virus is spreading itself, but I'm hoping that in the same process, we're spreading love, we're spreading joy, we're spreading some music. And that's exactly what we're going to do tonight with our guest, the distinguished, phenomenal urban jazz pianist, Kayla Waters. So listen, go on ahead. I would love for you all to like, to subscribe, to share this internet TV show with your fan base, your audience, your family, your friends, your network and connection. Like, love on YouTube, share our channel, help us get on out there because the Muses Behind the Music, we're doing some great things to bring some amazing talent, some muses to the world that some people don't even know, and others they do know, and we just want to spread the love of their artistry across the nation. So thank you so very much for all of the muses out there. I affectionately call you all that, who have continuously shown support and your love. I appreciate you all. And happy holidays to you all, too. Thanks so very much. I want to, before we bring this diva on, you know what? Some people act like divas, not her. I'm going to call her that because deservedly so, for all that she has done. That really is it. There's no conceit. There's such great humility about Kayla, and I appreciate that in her, the humbleness that stays where God has elevated this sister to so many different platforms. Award-winning urban jazz pianist Kayla Waters is a chart-topping recording artist, composer, producer, and music director. She has signed a multi-album record deal with Trippin' and Rhythm, which is under Sony label, and has made Billboard history, becoming the first female pianist and composer to reign atop the charts at the #1 spot for 6 consecutive weeks. Y'all, that is fire. That's awesome right there. She heard on her sophomore album entitled Co-Evolve. She has 2 #1 singles, and we're going to get a little glimpse of her performing her #1 hit, Zephyr, and the other one is Full Bloom. She's been the recipient of the Rising Star in Jazz Award by Black Women in Jazz and the Arts Foundation of Atlanta, and the Best Jazz Artist Award given to her by the Whammies and the Musicianship, which is right here in the DMV, where she is based. Oh, kudos for the district, DMV. She has been afforded the opportunities to collaborate and be on stage with such powerhouses like Stevie Wonder and Avery Sunshine. That's just to name a couple of people, because her bio is extensive and just awesome. She has been to the Newport Beach Jazz Festival and the Music City Jazz Festival, just to name a couple of those, because she's been featured on so much. BET's acclaimed Black Girls Rock. Oh, I am trying to get on there myself. Sis, help a sister out. Yes, indeed. And on that, she was with Gladys Knight and Corinne Bailey Ray, and just dynamic. Kayla Waters is hailing out of this area, like I stated before. She is a classically trained pianist that just merged her way into the jazz world. But that, I don't think, was by happenstance, because she grew up with jazz all around her. Her father is the renowned urban jazz artist, Kim Waters. So it's in her genes. It was nurtured and cultured in her all her life. She went to, get this, y'all, the real HU. Now, for those of y'all who be playing around a lot and you think Hampton's the real one, come on, we know it's Howard. My alma mater too. Went to the real HU, where she says that this is where her livelihood, her career, her passion, her purpose was really developed, and this is where she really found her love and her connect into her passion. So she was summa cum laude, not cum laude, because you know when you go to Howard, we're going to talk a little bit about that. It can take you through some things while it's building you in the process. I'd love for you all to just take a little look at Kayla's performance doing her hit, her number one on her sophomore album, Zephyr. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome Miss Kayla Waters? Yes,
Hey, hey, hey,
sis.
hey.
Fire!
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm gonna go sit on my piano and see if I can, like, figure it out by ear what you just did. That was bad. That was bad. And I saw you vibing to your stuff. I was telling you earlier, if you don't vibe to your own music, that would be a problem. Like,
Right.
for
You gotta
real.
feel it. You gotta
You
feel it.
gotta feel it and just know those shoes. How are you playing in some heels like that? What in the world? Are you practicing with them?
Well, to tell you the truth, I normally don't play with any shoes on, but that time I just wanted to be cute for a second.
Yeah, no, it's
Ah!
different, because I play the piano myself, and I got to literally practice. If you ever catch me like really playing the piano these days, I got to practice with some heels on, because
Right.
that it's a whole different feel to it. I drive without shoes, and I'm gonna play without
Yes.
shoes too.
Me
Right,
too, me
right,
too. I
right.
take my shoes off when I drive. I don't know. I just like being barefoot,
Me
comfortable.
too.
Look,
Me too. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. But stage, you got to do it up. It's funny that you even said, you just wanted to look cute in there. I'm noticing that there are a lot of the female artists who are pianists who they're creating a brand. They have this brand for themselves. I kind of sit back and I'm like, man, I hate the fact that we still have to be in this place that says sex sells, and so
mm,
we've got to like do things while we're playing the piano that
mm,
I think kind of might feel uncomfortable, but we know that it's going to attract the audience. How are you building your brand? Like I don't see you doing the same things. Like I love her, Miss Chloe. I love Miss Chloe. And
yeah.
she's fierce. She is
Right.
absolutely fierce. But she be wearing some stuff that I'm just like,
Them heels, I know. I know, and I'm like, "Look, I gotta be comfortable. I gotta be comfortable when I'm pedaling at the piano." Sometimes
so
pedaling in heels can kinda be a
it
little
doesn't work.
tricky.
It
Look,
don't work.
I'd rather sound I mean, looking good is great, but
Hmm.
my main focus is I wanna be sounding tight.
Yeah, yeah. So is that uh, is that somewhat of a challenge in the jazz industry? And so let me kind of back that up a little bit, because
Okay.
the jazz industry in general is tough. It's just
Yeah.
a tough industry because we as people don't really in America, we're not really respecting jazz like it
Mm,
once was respected. And so to get up on the charts, like that's not an easy feat, being number one on these
yeah.
Billboard charts and then being number one for 6 weeks consecutively. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard
Right.
thing. So how are you working it so that it benefits you, that you're in this awesome position that you're
Yeah.
in, being number one? What are you doing that maybe is different from other
Yeah.
artists?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is it stems from identity.
Hmm.
I know who I am. I know who God has called me to be. I know who He's
Yeah,
created me to be. And
yeah,
a lot of people, a lot of artists, they're still trying to figure that out. And until you know your purpose, your music really isn't going to be effective. And I'm all about purpose. I'm all about effectiveness. I'm all about encouragement and positivity. Um, and so I'm a jazz artist, but I think what makes me different is that my music has an inspirational tone
hmm
to it.
hmm
It's jazz because it's instrumental piano music, but anybody that knows me, they should know by now that I love God, and
yeah,
that's the focal point of my music and what I do. And to
yeah.
me, that's what sets me apart, and I make that known in all of the music that I write.
I love that. I was, Matthew Whitaker we had done Children of the Gospel that I direct, and Matthew Whitaker, we did a collab at the top of the season in September, and he came and he sat and he talked with the kids.
Yeah.
And one student had asked him, do you incorporate gospel music into your performances so that it kind of like pays homage to who you are as spirit man? And he was like, "Man, jazz is it too. Every
Mhm.
time I play, that's it." And so I'm glad that you said that, because, you can feel God coming through you, and that should be it, no matter what the music is, because God doesn't give everybody to go and do gospel. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Gospel is the
right,
good news. You know what I mean? And spread
right.
it through all of the music that the Creator has blessed us with on this
Definitely.
earth. You know,
Right.
and I love that. I can feel it so much through you, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I think that is one of the things that makes the difference. Who are the artists? I was mentioning Chloe at the beginning. So who are you
Yeah.
looking at? Who are you feeding off of?
Oh, that's a tough one because I feel
Uh-huh.
like I have so many influences. My music has a lot of different influences. Again, I was classically trained, so the classical greats like Chopin, Beethoven,
Yeah.
Debussy, Ravel. I love the harmonies in their music, so you can definitely hear my love for unique harmonies. I'm not big on just the standard 2-5-1 stuff. I like to explore a little bit. Let's get creative. I
Right,
mean,
right, right, right,
sometimes
right.
I feel like some people they just play the same progressions. I'm like, there's so many creative things you can do, and so I just love rich harmony. So definitely the classical greats. Of course, my dad is a huge inspiration. I learned a lot
Yeah.
about writing and production and how to be an artist just from watching my dad grow up. Um, Another huge inspiration of mine is George Duke.
Yeah.
Amazing piano
Yeah.
player, amazing producer, and I loved him because he took a lot of risks. He wasn't afraid to take chances with his music, and I feel like he really stretched the barriers of how how an artist can be innovative in the jazz genre. So,
Yeah.
definitely one of my biggest inspirations.
Have you ever gotten an opportunity to sit with him?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I never got to meet him, but I have all of his records.
Yeah. Well, may he live through the records and speak to you
Yeah.
through that as you're writing and composing. You went to the realist university,
Woo woo.
HU.
HU, you know.
You better not, right?
Right.
I was asking you some time before, what kind of brought you to the HBCU instead of going to a conservatory?
Um, well, I've always been kind of like a one and done girl. Once I make my mind up, it's what I want to do, and nothing's going to deter me or stop me.
Hmm.
I went on a HBCU college tour, and Howard was one of the stops, and I just felt connected to the campus. I felt connected to the culture,
Yeah,
seeing people like me being creative and
yeah,
and and thriving and educating themselves. I'm like, wow, this really feels like home. And so I just it was like a knowing. I was like, I think
yes,
Howard is for me. I think Howard is
yeah.
for me. And so I applied, I got accepted, and the rest was history.
It's like a knowing. So I'm going to put this out here right now so that the world can hear. Kayla and Michelle are going to come together and we're going to do a song called The Knowing. Okay? Sis,
Yes.
we're going to slap that up on your next album. All right? And
Yes.
you can produce it. We'll co-write it together. You produce it and let's make it happen because I think that is a genius title, if I might say
The
so
knowing. The
myself.
knowing. Yes. It's
The
all about
knowing.
knowing. Yeah.
Got you. I felt the same way when I went to Howard. I came up in an all white high school, all white neighborhood,
Okay.
and I think when I hit um, junior year of high school, I was over it. I was really in the space where I wanted to know who I was, the identity of being this Black woman in
Mm,
the world and where I really fit. And so I was on a quest to go to an HBCU.
yeah.
And, my father, he did the most research. It really wasn't me. But as soon as he started telling me about Jesse Norman and Roberta Flack, I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute now. Let's
Yeah.
let's go on up here. And so I felt it too. So I get what you're saying. Like you
Yeah.
do just know,
Mhm.
no matter where you go, you just know the fit to it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's important because then you can grow.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges, I'm just going to put it out here,
Okay.
that you might have faced at Howard that you are kind of grateful for? Well, and I live in the posture of even my challenges, I give God gratitude for because that's the space that I'm really stretched and I'm learning the most out of.
Yeah.
And Lord knows Howard University. Oh,
Yeah.
it helped to give me all of that.
Yeah. Um, I have to say, I, I think a lot of people in their college years, they're just starting to find themselves.
Hmm.
And, even in high school, a lot of people always used to say things like, well, all she does is talk about the piano, or all she does is talk about music and all this stuff. And so I would kind of hide my passion or hide how into my music I was. And um, I began to find myself and I began to become comfortable with how passionate I was at the piano. I know I'm very
Yeah.
into what I do. I know my stage presence is a draw. Um,
Hmm.
and so I think just identity, finding myself was a challenge, and being okay with who I
Yeah.
was, being okay with that. So, and then by the time I graduated and even all through my 20s, I was still honing who I was and,
Hmm.
who God called me to be. So I'd say
Well,
identity.
identity is key.
Yeah.
That is well, we know you as Kayla, the dynamic pianist. Kayla, the daughter of Kim Waters. How does that feel? How does that feel? How long did it take before people stopped identifying you? And here I go identifying you just like that. How long did that take?
Well, look, people. No, now it's gotten worse. My dad
Really?
looks, my dad looks great for his age. So my dad and I, we tour a lot. We go out to eat. When we're on the road and stuff.
Right.
People think he's my husband now.
LOL.
So they went to, oh, that's Kim Waters' daughter. So now they think I'm his wife, and I'm like, oh my god.
Hey y'all,
But
let's make
no,
a real quick distinction here. Daughter.
I'm like, that's, and then I got to show them the baby pictures. I'm like, look, this is my dad. Y'all don't believe
Yeah,
me?
people can be very different.
But he's always been dad to me. I mean, it took me a
Yeah.
while to like realize, oh, my dad is like he's an artist.
When did that hit you? When did you realize that?
I think I remember when I was in elementary school. I think I was in third or fourth grade, and
Hmm.
my dad he played at one of our assemblies, and
Hmm.
everybody was like looking at me and my sister like, oh my god, that's Kimberly and Kayla's dad. Oh my god, and I was like, why is everybody looking at us? And and then I was like, oh, my dad is like he's a
He's
musician. He's an artist.
famous.
He's like so then it kinda hit me like, "Okay, my dad's, like, doing this, doing this."
Yeah, like he's famous, man. That is just so cool. I mean, it's funny, and I'm nowhere on the status of your father, but I do a lot in the DMV and abroad, and my kids they'll still be like, you're a music teacher. Like, what is wrong with you? Just to me, like I'm out here sweating tears and blood, and you just think I'm just a music teacher, but it's all good. I get it. So I know that you all have had opportunity to be performing together. How cool
Yeah.
is that?
Oh
How
my
cool is
gosh.
that?
I
Like,
love it. I love it.
yeah,
It's so fun.
are you all going to get ready, or you've been featured on his albums plural?
Yes, yes. I've played on a couple of tracks. My
Hmm.
dad and I, he actually has 2 Christmas albums out. The first one is
Hmm.
my favorite, came out in '94, but he has another Christmas album, I believe came out a couple years ago. I wrote a song on that called Christmas Day, so I played with him on that
Oh, cool.
album, and we are helping each other. I
Hmm.
try to write and produce some songs for him, and he helps me with my music.
That's
So
cool.
we have a really cool collaborative
Yeah,
dad daughter relationship.
I love that. I was going to ask you if he, gives you critique, and are you open to the critique that he gives you?
I am, I
Yeah.
am, I am because he's been in the industry as long as I've been living.
Hmm.
Actually, longer than I've been living. He's been in this for a while, and he has longevity.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
hasn't fallen off the scale. He's been consistent, and so, I welcome my dad's input, his insight, his wisdom, and then sometimes I have some suggestions for him. Hey, Dad, here's a way that you can kind of stay innovative because he's got the old school and I've
Yes.
got the new school. So then we meet in the middle and come up with some cool stuff.
That's it. That's it. Like you have to stay fresh. I appreciate being an educator where I'm dealing with mostly high school students all day, every day long, because they keep me fresh, and in tune with what's going on in the music world. And then I can
Right.
incorporate that into, I don't do a lot of writing, I do more so arranging, but I can
Okay.
still do a lot more in incorporations of what's happening, what's more hip
Right.
into this generation status. And that's cool for me.
Right.
What, you are a twin.
I'm
Nobody.
a twin.
Oh my God. When I saw the pictures on IG, I was like, this is dope. How is it? Is your sister into music also?
Well, Kimberly, her name is Kimberly, and
Hmm.
she grew up playing French horn. So I was
Okay.
playing piano. She grew up playing French horn. She didn't stick with it as long as I stuck with piano. But
Uh-huh.
Kimberly, she has an ear for music. So,
Hmm.
she knows some cool breakdowns when the musicians are doing some cool stuff. She'll be like, "Oh, did you hear that?" So even though she doesn't play, she has an ear for it because
She's
she hangs
cultured into
around
it.
me and she's hung around my dad. So she has an ear for music.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I love that there is this, there's still this genes that were able to transfer into her, even though that she's not doing it. It's the same thing in my
Right.
family too. I really, I appreciate that. I was trying to actually like push my sister. If my sister's listening right now, I'm still gonna say it. She could have been a world star country singer because she just has this awesome, awesome voice for it, but she didn't want it, and that's all right. She stays her lane, and she does what she does. We have so many young people. One of the reasons that this whole entire show was created was because, one, I like to talk. Two, I like to understand people and their lives, and I want people to realize the human side of who we are, because I think they just get to see us on stage and they come up
Yeah.
with a lot of ideas as to who we are, but
Right.
it's so very far fetched. And um and I, I i want them to take the time to really to know some nitty gritty of it. But we've
Yeah.
got some young people who are listening in, and we've got some other more mature folk who are listening in too, who might want to aspire, and they're still in this position. We're not ones to say. I'm definitely not one to say that it's too late or it's too
Yeah.
early, but they're in this position where they want to discover something new, become an artist, become something different than what they're doing. What would you share with them?
Hmm.
Is a And I won't call it a secret, but what would you share with them is one of the things that you lean on strongly that has pushed you and your
Hmm.
career and your purpose?
Hmm. Huh. Something that has pushed my career and my purpose. Well, again, I gotta draw back to identity because when you
Hmm.
know who you are, that kind of shapes everything.
Yeah.
I know that I'm created to make music that's unique, that's not generally the status quo, that has a little bit more of a inspirational tone to it, that shares the love of God, and so that kind of shapes everything that I
Hmm.
do. It shapes how I carry myself. It shapes my image and how I brand myself. I'm mindful of what I say and what I do when I'm around other people, when I'm at
Yeah.
different festivals, and because people are watching. Um,
Aren't they?
people are watching and they're looking to say something negative about you.
Indeed.
So, I draw back to that and who I'm created to be. As far as developing, if you're wanting to do music, I would say follow your curiosity. There have been many
Mm,
times where I just go and sit at the piano and I start twinkling and then it turns into a song.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how a lot of my songs happen. That even the number one songs, I've just started with a melody, started with a chord, and it just kind of births
Morphed. Hmm.
itself. So I
Hmm.
I think it's important for artists or creatives to stay curious, stay inquisitive, because
Yeah.
that always leads to some sort of beautiful discovery.
Absolutely, and awaken. I love that. Follow your curiosity.
Yeah.
In speaking with about identity, immediately I started thinking about social media,
Mm,
and social media has its positives, but Lord knows that it does not. I don't feel that it allows people to find their individuality. I mean, would
mm,
you agree with that? It's almost
yes.
like people. and especially the younger generation, they get so easily caught into
Yes.
whatever the trend is,
Yes.
and they don't. I don't know if I can really say that.
I know what you're talking I know what you're talking about.
You with me
I know
on
what you're talking
that?
about.
And
Yes.
I just, what would you tell them about how to manage the um the wear and tear that social media can have on you?
Yeah. Um I think that a lot of people share highlights on social media. Sometimes I had to take a break from social media because it feels like show and tell.
Yes, yes,
It feels
yes,
like, "Oh, look what I did, praise me because I did XYZ," and it's
yep.
like, it's just the culture of it can be a lot, and then you're seeing this person post all their achievements and accolades and things like that, and then you
Hmm.
start to compare. So then
Hmm.
there's comparison creeping in, and so a lot of people, they share the big moments, and a lot of people think that these big moments are that person's life, but in the reality, that's not all it. If you go to my page, you'll see some of my highlights, but there are days where, I have my down days, and I'm pushing through some days, and so I think social
Yeah.
media avoids reality sometimes.
Oh, most
It's
definitely.
a it's a mirage, in
Most
my opinion.
definitely. Yeah, it
Um,
totally is. I'm so with you on that. Like I try not to follow any of the stars out there, and I do it because, well, I do that because I get a little agitated because I know I'm not really seeing all of who you are.
yeah, you get a glimpse.
That's
You
it.
get a glimpse.
And I want to cheer you on when you're doing well. I
Right.
do. And I want to also be present for when you're being confronted with a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think that we give enough credence to our challenges, because somebody else, first of all, us, when we make it through, when we've persevered through it, that's a testimony for somebody else who's going
Right.
through the same thing. And if we took
Right.
the time to just be very transparent, and
Authentic. Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
just come with that authenticity to say this is really who I
Yes.
am, and it's
Yes.
totally okay. You know what, I'm going to start reversing some stuff. I'm going up on social media right after Christmas, and I'm just going to highlight my bads.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
you know
I'm just for
Yeah.
real. And somebody
Yeah.
help me through all my challenges. I hate using the word bad, but I
Yes.
really I want that to be an encouragement too, that we're all humans. We're all trying to do better. At least I'm hoping that many of us are striving for that, to
Yeah.
do better,
Yeah. Yeah,
to live
definitely.
better, and when we know
Definitely.
better, we do better. That's what they say. When we know
Exactly.
better, we do better. Um,
Yes.
we got we're in this very interesting, I was going to call it precarious, but it's an interesting place where
Yeah.
we have gone through quite a bit in society, and I think that, well, we've always gone through a lot as Black people in the
Mm,
world.
yeah.
But I think that since now we have these wonderful phones with these high tech cameras on it and videos that we can take, it's just right inside of our face. I
Right.
share with my students all the time that there is great strength of being an artist. I don't care if you're a performing artist, if you're visual, if you're a creative writer, whatever it is, that we can take that gift and we can use it to speak to what is
Right.
taking place in the world. I think that we have a
Yes.
responsibility to
Yes.
use our voice and the power of our voice, not
Mhm.
necessarily this, but it could be this, or playing a trumpet, or writing words to speak to conditions. Do you feel
Mm,
that way? Do you
yes.
write music ever from that space that
Yes,
speaks to?
yes, yes. I'm all about purposeful writing. I'm
Hmm.
all about meaning. I'm an advocate for meaningful things,
Hmm.
meaningful songs, meaningful material. It has to have purpose behind it, or I just won't be passionate about it at
Yeah.
all. So, my first album, Apogee, came out
Hmm.
in 2016, and that was, the big election. A couple of years ago, and
Hmm.
I had songs on there like Freedom March, The Dream, that
Love
reflected
it.
on Dr. Martin Luther King's dream speech. So I tend to write socially conscious music as well, music that is relevant to the times that
Yes.
we're living in. I try to
Yeah.
be a quote unquote woke artist, to know what's going on in the world and to write music that can encourage people, regardless of the
Yeah.
state that we're in.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's imperative, and I love that you're conscious minded to do that,
Right.
because we really do need to speak to it. What and how else do you give back into the community?
Hmm. Well, of course, I definitely give back with music. I think just my sound,
Hmm.
my music is my offering.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Hmm.
Music is my offering.
Hmm.
That's I'm giving back by giving them a sound that can be healing, a sound that can be nurturing to their spirit, a
Yeah.
sound that can um, lift someone on a bad day. And so, I say my music is the greatest way that I give back. I love people. I love, encouraging people. A lot of times after my shows, I get to meet a lot of different people, and I just love hearing their stories or hearing how my music has blessed them.
Hmm.
That to me is a Grammy in my eyes. A lot of
Yeah.
people they worship the award, but the award for me is blessing other people through music.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that access. I feel like when I was coming up, I did not have that level of access to artists,
Mm,
and always promised myself. I don't know what it was, but I think we're just living in a different generation with,
yeah.
you know, of being able to reach out. I mean, we've got social media that we can, DM a star and hope that they'll return our phone call. You know what I mean? Or the message that we make. I mean,
Right.
it's a different level of access that's there. And I know
Right.
that you'll have these young people, young women who will sit in your audience, and they will look at you, and they will hope that one day they can be sitting in the same place that
Mm,
you are in.
yeah.
Do you ever think of, going into the schools, and, maybe it's like the performing arts magnet schools, and pulling, and
Oh, would love
helping
to do
to,
that.
yeah. All right. So, as an educator, I'm glad that you said that to all of my educator friends
Would
that are
love to do
listening
that.
in. Yeah, because we need more of those. They need to see it.
You need
They
to
need
see
to
it. Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
level of access to know that, oh my
Yes.
gosh, this individual is on the stage, yet they've taken the time out to come and to meet with me and to be a part of community and to help me grow, to
Mm,
just pour into me. And I think that that's one of the things about being a muse.
yeah.
That's another level of inspiration that people can receive. And I'm really, really talking about that younger generation, because
Yes.
we need to find
Yeah.
ways to pour more into them. What's
Definitely.
a pet peeve of yours in the industry, or anything in general?
I can't stand mediocrity.
Ah!
I
Ooh.
cannot.
Did you see how I jumped on that word?
I
Media.
cannot stand
Yes.
it. I'm a person who operates with the spirit of excellence.
Yes.
Um, I'll just give you a instance.
Hmm.
I love my band. My band, most of my band lives in DC.
Hmm.
My drummer lives in Tennessee, but
Oh
sometimes
wow.
I have to do shows with a house band, and I send the music 3 months in advance, send the charts, so it's easy. And I get to rehearse with the band the day before the show, and sometimes they don't know it. I'm like, "Did
No.
you guys spend time on it?" And then there's the other part of it, people think because I'm a female, they can brush over on me, but they have no idea that I write and produce all of my music, and I know all the chords, I know the bass lines, I know where the kick is supposed to go. So I'm gonna check y'all. Let's make sure we on it. Let's
Come
let's
on.
do A plus or just don't do it at all.
Don't. I'm so glad that you said that, though, because I too am a female. Hello, and I have been always in the environment surrounded by men, and
Yes.
we know, but we know that we have to have our game not only do we have to have our game like 100 times on the mark because we are Black, because we are
Female.
women,
Yep.
but because we're in this male dominated industry. And you have to, I tell all the young ladies, especially the singers,
Yep.
don't you dare go into a rehearsal or into your sound check. You don't know what key you're in. You
Come
can't
on.
tell. You can't tell the sound engineer that you need more kick in your monitor or you need them to pull
Yep.
this up. You can't tell the drummer or the
Yeah.
bassist what you're
Yes.
looking for.
Yes. Yeah.
That I'm
Yeah.
100 with you on that. See, I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
goosebumps
Yeah.
when you said that.
Yeah. You got to know the language, and you got to know how to take leadership. Be a leader.
Yes,
Be aggressive, because sometimes, if you're working
yes,
with the all guy band, you got to come 200% with them,
200.
or they're gonna run over you. So you got to really be aggressive and strong in that
Yeah.
industry. Yeah.
And I'm going to challenge that word and I'm going to say assertive.
Boom. There you
You know
go.
what I mean? Because, it's a funny thing. And I don't know if you've ever gotten this, but Lord knows I've talked to like a sea of people before. And I've said it like when I'm in mode. And I've said it with strength and like, this is what I need. And they, a man can
Yes.
come up and say the same way that I did. And they're just like, oh, we need to let's make sure that everything, you know what I'm saying? And so I,
Yeah.
I really can't stand that kind of stuff
Me
either.
either.
And it does take a lot of you got to have thick skin. You think,
Yes.
because they will run you. And if you get moved by that so easily, this field, any field really with women, when we're trying to bust through glass ceilings, is not
Right.
going to be an easy task to do. But you are doing it.
You
You are
got
you
to.
are doing it, sis. You are really doing it. And for all those musicians that you hire that they don't have it
No.
together.
No, look, one time I worked with this band and they didn't know my stuff, and I canceled the band, and I
I
did my
know
whole
that's
show to
right.
track. I did my show to track because they weren't prepared. So I was like, nope, y'all not gonna
That's
make me go down in flames. I'll
Come on and
nope.
say so.
'Cause
That's
this is my
right.
brand. This is my sound. This is a representation of me. So if you're playing sloppy, then that means I'm sloppy. So
Come on.
we're not doing that.
Come on. Absolutely. And oh, girl, you are saying some nuggets that, I'm just glad somebody else is saying it, because some of those are some of the things that I have been saying for a while, but I'm glad that you are saying it. I have another question in reference to like
Yes.
staying on with the business and being an artist, because so we've got these dual jobs.
Right.
As an artist, you've got to take care of the music, but there's a business side to this thing that you've
Oof.
got to know your stuff on
Yep.
too. Are you under management? Are you handling all of that on your own? Do you
Yeah.
find enough time to be able to balance those
Yeah.
two things? How are you
It,
working that?
Well, I say this, being an artist is a full-time job.
Yeah.
There's the creative component, then you've got the business admin component, contracts.
Yes.
I'm big on contracts.
Yes.
I've did my own contracts for years, and so now I know what needs to be in a contract.
I love it.
Payment, the dates, force majeure,
I love it.
vacation time, and a lot of people, if you don't know, they're gonna get over on you. I
Yes.
never do anything without a contract. Always review that. That's gotta be in place.
Yeah.
Gotta be on point with email, how you communicate with people. So I think just having a strong business acumen is very needed in this industry, and a lot of artists don't have that. They're all the way on the creative side, but you got to have the business side and meet the two in the middle to really be well-rounded as an artist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I brought on a lawyer, entertainment lawyer,
Yeah.
Stephanie Christina, who's also an
Yeah.
artist, so I
Yeah.
love the fact that, I've been knowing Stephanie since she was 13, and just watching
Yes.
her grow into this amazing, intelligent, dynamic artist and entertainment lawyer. And what she was talking about, just that same habit of knowing the balance. Like, you don't have to know everything, but Lord have mercy, know when you're being duped, know and
Yes.
understand
Yes.
the verbiage that's inside of the contract. So, and if you can't,
Yep.
then you go hire somebody like Stephanie Grisay
Yes.
to help
Yes.
you break that down, because this is how artists back in the day used to lose out on coins.
Right.
And
Right. They didn't
I'm
read the fine print.
didn't read the fine print. And I'm sorry, coins, this is what helps us go.
Yep.
Lots of people like to tell us our lifestyle is unstable. Well, I'm going to help me be stable. I'm going to know what the heck you don't put up in that contract so that
Right.
I can actually be stable with it. Where do you
Right.
see yourself in another 10 years? What are some of the things that you would love to do? Some of the collabs that you would love to have? I mean, I'm just blown that you collab there with Stevie. Like, that's
Oh
a
my God.
dream. That's
Yes.
a dream for a lot of people. And God blessed you with
Yes.
that opportunity. Where
Yes.
do you see
Yes.
yourself?
Wow, 10 years. Ooh,
I know.
I just turned 31, so 10 years is,
Woo!
oh my gosh. That means I'm gonna be in my 40s in 10
Correct.
years.
Yeah.
I hope to accomplish a lot in this
Mhm.
decade. Um, one of the biggest things I really want to do is launch my production company. I write and produce all my own material, and I'm
Yeah.
passionate about um, creating music that tells stories, and I really want to do that on a larger scale.
Hmm.
So I'm looking to get into film scoring and writing and producing for other artists. So I want to help other people
Yeah.
birth their babies, birth their musical
Yes.
babies. Definitely want to do that. I want to. I know there's ministry tied to what
Yes.
I do outside of music. I love inspiring. I love encouraging. Maybe this can be an offset of my production company, but I would love to
Hmm.
do global clinics and do some
Mm.
worship sessions in different countries and share some of my original music and
Yes.
something creative. So I mean, God is still giving me the vision for it, but I know there's more, and I know that I just know there's more. There's a lot
Yeah.
that I want to do, and I want to help people just experience the love of God through music. So I know that I can do that through my production company and starting some other initiatives through that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, girl. And I love that you said that you're just waiting for God to give it
I'm
to
the
you.
blueprint, waiting on the blueprint.
Yeah. Pour it on in. Pour it on in.
Yes.
You are is it an associate minister of
Yes.
music?
Yes.
What church are
Um,
you with?
yes, I'm at Grace Brethren Church in Clinton, Maryland.
Shout out to Grace Brethren in
Yes.
Clinton, Maryland. And I hope that there
Yes.
are some beautiful people from there who are listening
Yes.
in. And if not right now, that they will listen in later.
Yes.
A colleague and friend of mine, she's on right now, and she just says that you have a beautiful spirit from Marissa Stewart. And
Oh,
that
thank
is so
you.
true. That
Thank
is
you.
very true. It just emanates
Mm,
through you. I
thank
am
you.
really, really fortunate to have had this opportunity to sit with
Yes.
you and have conversation and just to delve in and get to know you a little bit more. Hey, did you didn't say nothing about marriage on the horizon for you?
Oh
And
gosh. Well, hey, God willing, would love to tie the knot.
okay, come
Okay,
on,
would
yeah.
love to.
Now
Well, in His timing, I'm flowing with God.
that
But He's establishing me first right now, and that's fine.
come on,
A lot
establish.
of a lot of people miss that step. I don't need to be established with somebody else. I need to be whole on my own.
I, period. Period. It
Period.
starts there. That's on Rihanna. Girl, those kids done taught me a lot. They said Miss Fallon is per.
Right. Right. Okay.
You got
Yes.
to use it all. You got to use it all.
Yes. Yes.
So, Kayla, if people need to be, they want to get in contact with you. How do they do
Yes.
it? They want to hear your next concert and support you in your next endeavors. Tell us how
Yes.
we can find you.
Yes, you guys can visit me at my website, www.iamkaylawaters.com. All of my social media handles are at I am Kayla Waters.
All right, and I have just put that up into the comments for all of you to go on ahead and check her out. Check out her album. Are you getting ready? Are you in the midst right now, kind of vibing,
Yes.
relaxing, listening, meditating on the next album to come
Yes,
right
yes,
now? Okay,
in the works, in the works. I'm praying on a 2022 release, so should be wrapping that up within the next
fire.
couple of months. Yes.
That's awesome. We're gonna wrap. We're wrapping that up. We're going to create our song, "The Knowing," and put that
Woo!
on the following one. You know what I'm saying? We might
There
just
you
release
go.
that as a single, girl.
Right, that could be a special single. Okay.
I
Yes.
mean, we could do a little classical voice and jazz. I mean, we'll talk about that offline. We're gonna figure
Yeah.
this
There
thing
you go. There you go.
we're
Okay.
gonna figure
Yes.
this thing out.
Yes.
Muses, it has been an absolute delight to have Kayla Waters with us. Kayla,
Yes.
friend,
Thank
thank you
you.
so very much for being a part of the Muses Behind the Music. I am looking forward to all of the great things that are about to come from you in the future. And I'm praying God's blessings all over you as you continue to pursue your purpose.
Yes, and I
Pursue the
my
purpose.
dad was watching. He just sent me a text saying, "I can't comment." I was like, "I don't know how to do it, Dad."
Wait, say, oh, you know why? He has to, everybody has to give permission to StreamYard to be able to make
Oh.
comments. Yes.
Oh,
So,
okay, Dad. Well, you gotta do some permission stuff.
okay. Yeah, to make those comments. That's what we have to do. And to all of the Muses, once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. This has been a dynamic time of conversation with the Kayla Waters. Until I see you all real soon. Peace
Yes.
and
Bye-bye.
blessings.
Bye.